Hello. Hi, Star Babies. This is your friendly neighborhood Auntie Coley, the MomInShaman from beautiful Four Oaks, North Carolina. And we are reading My Father's Dragon. This is chapter 6. My Father Meets a Rhinoceros. And again, this book is by Ruth Gannett, illustration by Ruth Chrisman Gannett, a Newbery Honor book. So we're reading a chapter book for bedtime stories, so I hope you're settled, ready to relax. So the last chapter was chapter 5, called My Father Meets Some Tigers. So now, my father meets a rhinoceros. Let's see what's going to happen next. My father soon found a trail leading away from the clearing. All sorts of animals might be using it too, but he decided to follow the trail no matter what he met, because it might lead to the dragon. He kept a sharp lookout in front and behind and went on. Just as he was feeling quite safe, he came around a curve right behind the two wild boars. One of them was saying to the other, "Did you know that the tortoises thought they saw Monkey carrying his sick grandmother to the doctor's last night? But Monkey's grandmother died a week ago, so they must have seen something else. I wonder what it was." I told you that there was an invasion afoot," said the other boar, "and I intend to find out what it is. I simply can't stand invasions." "Me neither," said a tiny little voice. Me neither." And my father knew that the mouse was there too. "Well," said the first boar, "you search the trail up this way to the dragon. I'll go back down the other way through the big clearing, and we'll send Mouse to watch the ocean rocks, in case the invasion should decide to go away before we find it." My father hid behind a mahogany tree just in time. The first boar walked right past him. My father waited for the other boar to get a head start on him, but he didn't wait very long, because he knew that when the first boar saw the tigers chewing gum in the clearing, he'd be even more suspicious. Soon the trail crossed a little brook, and my father, who by this time was very thirsty, stopped to get a drink of water. He still had on his rubber boots, so he waded into a little pool of water and was stooping down when something quite sharp picked him up by the seat of his pants and shook him very hard. Whew, this is exciting. I'm going to grab my water. "Don't you know that's my private weeping pool?" said a deep, angry voice. My father couldn't see who was talking because he was hanging in the air right over the pool, but he said, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that everybody had a private weeping pool." "Everybody doesn't," said the angry voice. "But I do, because I have such a big thing to weep about, and I drown everybody I find using my weeping pool." With that, the animal tossed my father up and down over the water. "What is it that you weep about so much?" asked my father, trying to get his breath, and he thought over all the things he had in his pack. "Oh, I have many things to weep about, but the biggest thing is the color of my tusk." My father squirmed every which way, trying to see the tusk, but it was through the seat of his pants, where he couldn't possibly see it. "When I was a young rhinoceros, my tusk was pearly white," said the animal. And then my father knew that he was hanging by the seat of his pants from a rhinoceros tusk. "But it has turned a nasty yellow-gray in my old age, and I find it very ugly. You see, everything else about me is ugly, but when I had a beautiful tusk, I didn't worry so much about the rest. Now that my tusk is ugly too, I can't sleep nights just thinking about how completely ugly I am. I weep all the time, but why should I be telling you these things? I caught you using my pool, and now I'm going to drown you." "Oh, wait a minute, Rhinoceros," said my father. "I have some things that make your tusk all white and beautiful again. Just let me down, and I'll give them to you." The Rhinoceros said, "You do? I can hardly believe it. Why, I'm so excited." He put my father down and danced around in a circle while my father got out the tube of toothpaste and the toothbrush. "Now," said my father, "just move your tusk a little nearer, please, and I'll show you how to begin." My father wet the brush in the pool and squeezed a dab of toothpaste and scrubbed very hard on one tiny spot. Then he told the Rhinoceros to wash it off. When the pool was calm again, he told the Rhinoceros to look in the water and see how white the little spot was. It was hard to see in the dim light of the jungle, but sure enough, the spot shone pearly white, just like new. The Rhinoceros was so pleased that he grabbed the toothbrush and began scrubbing violently, forgetting all about my father. Just then, my father heard hoofsteps, and he jumped behind the Rhinoceros. It was the boar coming back from the big clearing where the tigers were chewing gum. The boar looked at the Rhinoceros and at the toothbrush and the tub of toothpaste, and then he scrubbed his ear on the tree. "Tell me, Rhinoceros," he said, "where did you get that fine tube of toothpaste and that toothbrush?" "Too busy," said the Rhinoceros, and he went on brushing as hard as he could. The boar sniffed angrily and trotted down the trail toward the dragon, muttering to himself, "Very suspicious. Tiger's too busy chewing gum. Rhinoceros too busy brushing his tusk. Must get hold of that invasion. Don't like it one bit. Not one bit. It's upsetting everybody terribly. Wonder what it's doing here anyway." So that was the end of chapter 6. My father meets a rhinoceros. And here is the picture of the rhinoceros with a toothbrush. Let's see. And here is the picture of the rhinoceros catching my father by the pants, the character in the book. So we'll go ahead on and read the next chapter, chapter 7. My father meets a lion. My father waved goodbye to the rhinoceros, who was much too busy to notice, got a drink further down the brook, and waded back to the trail. He hadn't gone very far when he heard an angry animal roaring. "Ding blast it! I told you not to go blackberrying yesterday. Won't you ever learn? What will your mother say?" My father crept along and peered into a small clearing just ahead. A lion was prancing about, clawing at his mane, which was all snarled and full of blackberry twigs. The more he clawed, the worse it became, and the madder he grew, and the more he yelled at himself, because it was himself he was yelling at all the time. My father could see that the trail went through the clearing, so he decided to crawl around the edge in the underbrush and not disturb the lion. He crawled and crawled, and the yelling grew louder and louder. Just as he was about to reach the trail on the other side, the yelling suddenly stopped. My father looked around and saw the lion glaring at him. The lion charged and skidded to a stop a few inches away. "Who are you?" the lion yelled at my father. "My name is Elmer Elevator." "Where do you think you're going?" "I'm going home," said my father. "That's what you think," said the lion. "Ordinarily, I'd save you for afternoon tea, but I happen to be upset enough and hungry enough to eat you right now." And he picked up my father in his front paws to feel how fat he was. My father said, "Oh, please, lion, before you eat me, tell me why you're so particularly upset today." "It's my mane," said the lion. as he was figuring how many bites a little boy would make. You see, what a dreadful mess it is. I don't seem to be able to do anything about it. My mother is coming over on the dragon this afternoon, and if she sees me this way, I'm afraid she'll stop my allowance. She can't stand messy manes. But I'm going to eat you now, so it won't make any difference to you. Oh, wait a minute, said my father, and I'll give you just the thing you need to make your mane look all tidy and beautiful. I have them here in my pack. You do? Said the lion. Well, give them to me, and perhaps I'll save you for afternoon tea after all. And he put my father down on the ground. My father opened the pack and took out the comb and the brush and the 7 hair ribbons of different colors. Look, he said, I'll show you what to do on your forelock before where you can watch me. First you brush a while, then you comb, then you brush again until all the twigs and snarls are gone. Then you divide it up in 3 and braid it like this and tie a ribbon around the end. As my father was doing this, the lion watched very carefully and began to look much happier. When my father tied on the ribbon, he was all smiles. Oh, that's wonderful, really wonderful, said the lion. Let me have the comb and the brush and see if I can do it. So my father gave him the comb and the brush, and the lion began busily grooming his mane. As a matter of fact, he was so busy that he didn't even know when my father left. That was the end of chapter 7. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. I like to just keep it at 2 chapters, a recording. So this is my father's dragon. Tune in next time for chapter 8. My father meets a gorilla. There's only 3 more chapters to go till the end of the book. So we are well on our way. Let's see, were there any pictures for the last one? Here is the picture of the lion combing its hair, and then the lion with all the bows. And then here's where my father meets the lion. Alright. So, thank you so much, Star Babies, for tuning in today. This is Coley the MomInShaman from beautiful 4 Oaks, North Carolina, with bedtime stories, daytime stories, stories for children from books. Peace be with you. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll see you later.